Hello, 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 and welcome back to Cook It and Eat It here on Jim Johnston Reviews the World. And today we're continuing on with our Bacon Extravaganza Month, and we're heading straight to Thailand. That's right, today we're going to do our much simplified take on another Cowboy Kent Rollins recipe. This one is smoked bacon wrapped stuffed chicken thighs, but we're going to simplify that out to cast iron. I had this on my hand for some reason, but we're going to simplify that out to bacon wrapped stuffed cast iron skillet fried chicken thighs. And we're going to start with 3 thawed out boneless skinless chicken breasts. You're going to need at least probably two pieces of pork bacon, full fat pork bacon for each one of these. You're going to need a half block of cream cheese. This is the lower calorie version. You're going to need a half block of that softened or warmed up. You're going to need some canned or some freshly roasted, if you do it yourself, green chilies, roasted and peeled. This is a 4-ounce can. That's the smallest one I could buy. I'm guessing we're going to use about half of this. You're going to need garlic powder, black pepper, chili powder, cilantro leaves, and hopefully, if you have it, some Southwest Chipotle, seasoning salt, and oh wow, I almost forgot. Since we're not smoking these and we're making them in a frying pan, you're going to need that good old liquid smoke. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to trim up and get these chicken thighs kind of better filleted so that we can stuff them real good. I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's hard to work the camera and things like that and get chickeny hands. So I'm going to prepare this chicken and then I'll come back and kind of give you an idea of what I did to get it ready. Alright, we're back here on our Bacon Extravaganza episode of Cook It and Eat It. Today we're going straight to Thailand, as I said. We're making some stuffed bacon-wrapped chicken thighs in a simplified style of Cowboy Kent Rollins. Again, this is taking his recipe and simplifying it out so you can do it at home. It's going to be really helpful, folks, though, if you have a couple pieces of cooking equipment. You want a nice big skillet. This one I've already been working on preheating. Look at that. And that has a little bit of bacon grease, some previously used bacon grease or previously rendered bacon grease in it. And actually I rendered off a little bit of the chicken fat from this. And then we got a splatter screen. That's going to come in very handy here in just a couple minutes. And I have my larger of my 2 burners on medium heat, which would probably be about a medium low on your average home stove because this sucker is a little underpowered. I trimmed up and got our chicken breasts ready off camera. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. And I did go ahead and I made up our stuffing. This was half a block of cream cheese mixed with approximately half a 4-ounce can of diced roasted green chilies, 16 drops of liquid smoke, 1 teaspoon black pepper, fresh ground, 1 teaspoon cilantro leaves, 1 teaspoon garlic powder, half teaspoon chili powder, and a half teaspoon of our salt-free Southwest Chipotle. This is kind of our magic secret seasoning blend that I use a lot here on the channel. You can find that at your local grocery store in a name brand, and you can occasionally find it at your local Aldi stores in that brand. In fact, most of the stuff here has come from Aldi, but that's a story for another day. I don't get an endorsement deal with them, so forget it. Alright, we got our chicken breast, and I just took off any real big pieces of fat, scored the skins a little bit. Got some toothpicks down here handy. You can barely see them, but we're going to definitely need some toothpicks to hold all this together. Got my bacon out. I'm coming with a nice forkful, second forkful. I did score this chicken on the inside a bit, so we got more little nooks and crevices. But you just want to kind of fill it up with as much as you think it can handle, and then roll her up. Try to get as much of it stuck inside as you can. And this is where we're going to come in with our first toothpick. Hold this sucker together. So that's going to be our first toothpick. There's probably going to end up being about 3 or 4 toothpicks in this. Yeah, not my favorite thing either, but from time to time you got it. And then because we rolled this way, and we want to seal this up the best we can, keep all that goodness in. We're going to lose some of this in the cooking process, but we want to try to keep as much of it in as we can. So we're going to come around the bottom with our bacon. First piece of bacon. There you see it was already leaking out. I'm going to come around and toothpick that. Put this back in here for now because whatever we don't use I'll just throw away. Unfortunately, there's not really anything you can do because you're dealing with raw chicken. And then I'm going to attach our next piece of bacon to one of our holes we already used. And then we're going to wrap that around a couple times. And then we're going to go with a third on this one. This is my biggest one, so not super surprised that it took extra bacon. Because I want to have this pretty much completely covered in the bacon. Alright, one more thing. We're going to poke that through, and then I'm going to come in one more through right here. There we have our wrapped up. Show you a little better. There we have our wrapped up chicken, and I'm going to go ahead, set this aside instead of putting it in the frying pan. I'm going to get the other two ready, and then we'll come back and cook. Alright, here's our stuffed bacon wrapped chicken breasts, and I used up probably 4/5 of that serving for these three. These big ones have 3 pieces of bacon, the smaller one has 2 pieces of bacon. And now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to put these in our skillet, but before we do that, let's flip the script on the set. Alright, we're ready to cook. I got my 12-inch cast iron skillet, and this is a relatively new skillet. This is a Mountain House, and I got it pretty affordably on sale, but it came seasoned terribly. It actually had like a, I guess technically food grade wax or something that I had to strip off, and I haven't been able to, my preferred method of cast iron seasoning is to coat it in Crisco or even pure lard if you can get your hands on it, and then to throw it literally in a fire outside, a nice hot fire for about an hour. So I haven't been able to do that, so I've been doing the slow burn method, which is basically cooking things that are greasy, putting a thin coat of a nice high smoke point oil like grapeseed on the outside, and then cooking things that are greasy on the inside. So I call that the slow burn method. It takes a while to really season up a skillet that way, but it's doable if you can't have a fire. People do them in their ovens, but that's a mess. Anywho, here's our chicken breasts ready to go. Last time I'm gonna have to wash my chickeny hands today, I hope. Now I have my frying pan is on medium heat, which for you cooks at home would probably be about a medium low. I want to start a little bit lower here because I want to make sure these big old suckers are going to be able to cook through in the end. I'm going to pop on my splatter screen to keep from making a big old mess all around. And I'm going to let these go for about 5 minutes, and we'll come back and see about giving them a turn. Okay, we're cooking chicken thighs. Now it's been about 10 minutes. I said it was going to be 5, but it's been 10. So we're going to go ahead and give these a flip now. See where we're at. And for now, that's where we want them. At the end, we'll brown this bacon up. Alright, and like I said, we're going to lose a little bit of our stuffing. But that's okay, because I believe all that's just going to add to the flavor in the bottom of the pan. And so before we put our screen back on, I am going to swirl this around, and don't have a fancy cast iron pot holder this time, so we just have an older face/dish towel wrapped around and rubber band. So I had turned this down a little bit, and now I'm going to turn it up just a pinch. I was a little concerned that our bacon was going to get incinerated before our chicken was cooked through, but I think we're good. Gotta put the spurs to it just a little bit. We will attempt to get it on the 2 sides, but we won't try to do the ends. We'll see what we can do with that. Alright, through the magic of video editing, we're back, and we have a finished plate of chicken breasts. Now before we do our taste test and dive into this, truth be told, this is meant to be a smoker and grilling recipe, and I wanted to bring in the house as an excuse to use my cast iron skillet that needs some, needed to get all nice and greasy because it needs some seasoning. You're going to want to cook this in your oven, to be honest with you. The best thing to do is to cook this in your oven, in a cast iron skillet still, and then put it in your oven, 375, 10 to 15 minutes on the top and on the bottom sides, and then give it 5 minutes or so, 5 to 7 minutes on each of those sides to make sure it's cooked through for a total cooking time of 42 minutes about, if you do it in your oven. Now, you do this like I did it on your countertop stove. You want to start out at a medium-low heat so that you're not charring off this bacon. And I ended up doing this, I ended up cooking this chicken for over an hour on my top, rolling it around to get everything where I felt like it was going to be cooked through at the end, and then rolled it around a second time on a higher heat to char up that bacon. So to be completely honest, my cooking method here would probably not be preferred for most people. Take a little more time than you would want. I'm sure it's going to taste great here in a minute, but I got to be real about that. I did not try this recipe before I recorded this video. This was one of the ones I saw Cowboy Kent do it a few months ago, and I said, hey, I'm gonna do that. You hear that a lot in here. I see something, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And I have to alter it for my conditions and my tastes and such. My cooking method was a bit of a fail. I got her done, and it ended up taking well over an hour. So again, 375 in an oven, still in a cast iron skillet would probably be your best bet if you don't want to do it on a grill. And if you do it out on a grill, that would be medium-high heat. Or if you do it on a smoker, yeah, you probably want to smoke it at about 275 to 300, depending upon your preference, for about 4 hours. But using a smoker, you're never going to burn anything anyway. So you would cook it for 4 hours, and then you would char it on a hot grill on each side for about 5 minutes. That's enough of that. I'm going to actually cut so I can edit this. All right, that's enough of me and my fail army drama. Let's give this a taste. Let's give it a cut into it and see how she looks. And I'm using a nice serrated knife. I'm just gonna cut this for presentation's sake. See what we got here. Oh, look at that. Now we did lose a little bit of that filling in the cooking process. I did see some of it leak out, but as you can see here, a lot of it's still there, and you can see. Alright, you can see here clearly when I zoom all the way in, that is definitely cooked through chicken. And like anything when you're dealing with bacon, bacon always does what it wants regardless of what you want it to do, so you always end up having to cut the bacon into little pieces. If you ever made a filet mignon, or this is similar to like if you did like a bacon wrapped chicken cordon bleu type of thing. Let's see if we can get some of that sauce. Have a look at that. Definitely cooked through chicken. It's been rested about 5 minutes. The smell is, again, phenomenal. You get the smokiness and everything from the bacon. And now that we've cut into it, you can smell those roasted chilies and the sauce. Or I guess that would be a stuffing more than a sauce. Let's show it to you one more time and then give it a taste. Oh, well, tell you what, that dog can hunt. We'll do a little boot scoot. Anyone that's seen Kent, he always does a little boot scoot and boogie after he tastes something. So I just did a little, in honor of Kent, since this was his recipe, did a little boot scoot and boogie off the camera. Give it another taste. Alright, all that said, all that about the cook fail, this was flippin' awesome. The flavor, just enough heat, the creaminess from the cream cheese, the smoke, the bacon, the salt, the this, the that, the other thing. Oh my god, it was worth the effort I put in. Even though the cooking got a little long in the tooth in my opinion, it was worth it. Oh my, this is phenomenal. Before we get into the closing credits, so to speak, I just want to say, this should be part 2 of 4 parts of Bacon Extravaganza I'm doing here for the month of September. I don't think it's National Bacon Month or anything like that. I just decided I had like 2 or 3 recipes I wanted to do with bacon, and then so I decided to add a couple more and just make a Bacon Extravaganza Month for our regular upload schedule. Again, we're now uploading our regular scheduled videos on Thursdays, sometime in the afternoon or evening hours. You might see an extra bonus video or whatever you want to call it pop up from time to time. That being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Cook It and Eat It today here on Jim Johnston Reviews the World. And if you like my stuff, please go down below, like, and share this video with your friends and family to help me grow the world. And we'll see you again next week for more Bacon Extravaganza. Before I go, from me to you, I want you to know, be weird, be free, and most importantly, be independent.